Hi, we are working with lovely Geneva today. She's got beautiful nail beds. We've done a 30-day manicure fill on her, so just a very thin layer, as you can see, a very, very thin layer of hard gel base. And I'm gonna do what I call a sideways ombre. Keep carrying her hand. Which is blending your light and dark. Actually, I think I'm gonna go light, dark, dark, dark. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna take that off because I want this to be dark and dark on the same side. So I'm gonna bring this down. And I'm gonna be doing this wet on wet. So when I do an ombre up and down, sometimes depending on what colors I'm doing, I do it wet on dry. So one of the colors is cured, but with this one, I'm doing a wet on wet. So I'm actually gonna have both of my colors wet. And I'm gonna show you guys with your brush how to blend these. And the first coat isn't gonna be quite as blended, but the second coat's gonna come out really beautifully blended. So this is Luxio Cocoa, which is a really beautiful fall color. It's no shimmer in it like there is with Mystical. This one's a cream. She always has this little bump of skin there we get to work around. So don't worry about getting a little bit on the skin with this, because inevitably I tend to touch the skin. You just want to make sure that before you put it in the light, you get any of that out, so you don't end up with anything. All right, so I'm going to take my handy dandy 106. This is the one I use for everything. And I'm just going to lightly blend this down. And then I'm going to turn my brush over, because now it's almost like a one stroke. So you've got dark on one side and light on the other. And I'm going to do the same thing on this one, and I'm just going to brush it down. Flip my brush over and brush it down. Like I said, the first coat isn't going to be perfect. It's the second coat that's really you're going to get a good coverage with the second coat. But I'm trying not to pull all of the color off. You really want to glide over the nail when you do this as much as you can. So look at your brush, look and see where your light and your dark are. So my dark's on that side. So, let me finish carrying that other hand. So I'm just going to brush this down, and you can go kind of back and forth a little bit because you do want to blend this from one side to the other. So go from one side to the other. Just a little bit, just to start getting that ombre from one side to the other. And flip your brush. Okay, you guys see how that's starting to come out? And I'm just gonna try to get anything off that looks bad. You don't want to be curing gel all over her finger, if possible. Alright, go ahead and put that in. That's fine, it's about done. Okay, same on this one. You can start with either side. You don't have to be super picky about what side it is if you don't want to. Sorry guys, gotta get you in the camera. Again, this is Accents Luxio Cocoa. Really, really good fall color. Don't use it quite as much throughout most of the year, but definitely October, November, I use it a ton. It is a really good one if you don't have the gel play brown and you want to do like a cheetah print or something. This is a really good color for a cheetah print as an accent. All right, and then I'm going to use Sophisto. So that's this one. It's kind of a funny name, Sophisto. We don't don't have to get it perfect, just get some product on there. Alright, I'm going to take my brush. I cleaned it off, so you can, if you didn't clean it off, it's totally fine. You can continue to use it just very lightly. I'm very, very lightly touching this. You don't want to get your bristles flared out at all. If you're pressing hard, you're going to just pull everything off. So you want to just very lightly feather over your colors. And you can go back and forth, just a little bit back and forth. Okay, let's see, look at my brush. So remember, this is the dark, so turning it over, make sure that I have my light on one side and dark on the other. It's the same thing when you load your brush for a one-stroke flower, as you've got light on one side and dark on the other. All right, I'll clean that up real quick. All right, go back in. Now we'll do the second coat. That's Sophisto. This is really pretty technique if you want to have kind of that sunset effect, and you can do multiple colors. So if you wanted to start with maybe yellow and orange and stuff and go to a darker color, just get another brush out. It's a good reason to have a couple of brushes on hand, and that way you're not constantly having to clean your brush between each hand. But then you can kind of do a multicolor of the ombre on different nails as you go across the hand. So having a couple extra brushes is really handy for that, just because you'll have your brush loaded and it works a little bit easier if you don't have to keep cleaning your brush in between. And the brushes are only $8.95, so they're pretty inexpensive to have and keep around. Or I do have a one-stroke brush kit at lovenails.com, so if you want multiple brushes of that same, just the square shape, there is that set, and that way you would have, I think it comes with 6. So that way you don't have to buy a bunch of different brushes, just get a set, and then you've got that kind of shape brush for all of them. Okay, so after you get both of them, remember it's wet on wet. We're not curing anything in between these. And we're going to do it again. So my brush, see how it kind of spread? I don't want to pull that much of the light color, so I just squeezed it between my brush, or my wipe. It has just a little tiny bit of gel cleaner on it, just to keep the lint off of my brush. So I'm just going to do this, and I'm just going to kind of go side to side just a little bit to make sure that we're getting a blend from one side to the other. I'm going to flip my brush over, do the same thing over here from one side to the other. Just very, very blend. And I'm not going all the way over to the side because you want to have your solid colors there. But if you can see, it's blending them quite nicely from one side to the other that way. Okay, darks on that side. And you can just keep going until you're pleased with how much it's blended. And because I am doing a little bit of an accent with some gold foil after this, if I was doing just solid, I might be really, really particular with every little bit blended, but it looks like it's looking pretty good. But we're going to accent this afterwards with some fun foils. Looks like there's a little piece of lint there. Fuzz. Real life fuzz. Alright, and this one. sure you just use your orange wood stick, get anything out of the cuticle that you bumped into, so it's nice and cleaned up. Okay, go ahead and put that one on white. I'm just cleaning my brush a little bit so I don't have too much on there. I'm gonna go with coat 2 here. My screen or freezes it or something. Sorry about that, guys, if it froze up for a second. Someone's trying to call on my phone. So again, if you're just joining me, I am using Sophisto from the Accents Luxio line. It's a nice darker nude here. Looks like we're keeping about on time. We started Geneva at about 10 past, so I like to try to keep my services to an hour. I removed her old color, which she had one of those fun fades that I did that was the opposite direction with mystical and some gold. And so we're sticking with the fall theme one more time, and I'm sure she will be a model for something festive for Christmas. Yes.
Yeah.
Her nails are all over my Instagram because she has fabulous nail beds, so I love to use her for pictures. Hi, Risa. And this is Cocoa. So this is the Accents Luxio Cocoa. Okay, so the trick with this, again, is to have your brush pretty parallel to the nail, and you're barely going to touch it when you float down. So just barely, barely touch the nail, and you're just going to float this down and go kind of side to side so that you're blending these colors together. I feel like there's not quite enough brown here, so we're just going to add a little bit more. There we go. Switch it, flip your brush over so that you've got your light on one side and your dark on the other. And blend side to side. That gives you this really cool ombre effect. And it's quick because you want to make sure you're getting, this is in the salon, your clients don't have time to sit all day, so you want to make sure you're doing fun, easy designs that, oh, did I do that the right way? Oh, hold on, that just made a mess. So, because this is all gel and we can just wipe that off, I'm just going to reapply my one coat to each one. I think I had my brush turned to the wrong direction on there, and we'll start over. There's a piece of lint. Yes, I do sell Luxio. I had a question, it might have been through private text, but I did have a question. I do sell Luxio. It's for professionals only though. So if you are licensed, you can purchase Luxio and the products that I'm using at lovenails.com, but it is professional only product, so you do have to have a license. All right, clean this up. Go ahead and put that in. So now I'm just going to do a light foiling on her. I don't want to do a ton because I don't want to cover this up. So I'm going to fold my foil just kind of like this, and I'm just going, oh, that dropped too much. So if it did drop too much, you can actually just scrape it out. I don't want to cover up hers too much. So sometimes if it does drop too much, it's because this is a great, some of the colors really stick really well. So I'm actually going to kind of bunch it up like this. And that way it drops just a little bit. I don't want it to be really heavy. I just want it a little light spattering of foil. So we don't want to lose what we just did with ombre. So again, I'm going to find a place on my foil that's not all been used too much. I'm just going to crinkle it like this, where it's just like a little bit of a ball almost. And dab it on. All right. Then I'm just going to top gloss this and finish the edges. And there we have it, a nice side ombre with some gold foil. All right, try this on your next client. Enjoy. Thanks, everyone. Do I do that with every coat? Yes. Thank you.